What if I told you that there was something you could do to potentially help your pet live longer? Today in this video, we're going to talk about preventing obesity. Being overweight and being obese in our pets is one of the biggest health problems we face, and it's something that we can prevent. So first off, what is pet obesity? To put it simply, pet obesity or your pet being overweight simply means that they have a higher proportion of body fat that is safe for them, and it can cause an impact on their overall health and quality of life. Preventing weight gain and keeping your pet at a healthy body condition can be affected by many factors. But when it comes down to it, there's two main things that play a role: diet, what they're eating, their calorie intake, and exercise, with diet being the much more significant factor. The first step is picking the right food. Now, your pet's nutritional needs are going to vary depending on many factors, including species, breed, age, activity status, and also underlying health conditions. That being said, I very much recommend you consult a veterinarian or a certified nutritionist when it comes to making these selections so that we can ensure you're choosing the right food in the right quantity for your pet's nutrient needs. You can often count on a commercial diet being a good option, in particular if these companies have utilized the nutrient guidelines set forth by places like FEDIAF, WASAVA, or AFCO. There are many different types of food out on the market, and I know these options could get overwhelming for people. Your pet's needs are going to vary. A puppy has very different nutrient requirements than a fully grown, neutered adult dog. Similarly, a senior pet is going to have different requirements as well. I always encourage people, when you are trying to choose a food, seek advice from a professional. If you do have time and want to home cook for your pet, I think that is a fantastic idea. What I would recommend is to make sure that you are providing the appropriate amount of nutrients in the right quantities for your pet, is seeking advice from a pet nutritionist or a veterinarian certified in nutrition to help you pick what ingredients and what volumes to get that goal. So let's take a minute and talk about treats. Now, I'm not going to be the veterinarian that says that you can't give your pet treats. I'm also a pet owner, and it's really hard to say no to those puppy dog eyes. Trust me, I'm the treat giver in our house, so I'm with you there. But it's important that we recognize that treats can be an unintentional source of a lot of extra calories for pets, especially when it comes to things like human food or table scraps. When we feed our pets those types of items, people don't realize that it's a much bigger proportion of things like fat or sodium for our pets than it would be for us. They can provide a lot of extra calories that your pet just doesn't need. So we need to be careful about what proportion of their daily calories is coming from treats. Treats that are made for cats and dogs are fine to give in small proportions. Sometimes I even encourage owners to take a small part of their normal dry food that they would feed their dog or their cat, and then take that away from a meal and use that as treats throughout the day. So that way we're ensuring that we are including those calories in their total daily caloric intake. Now, another thing that we can talk about is if you're using treats for training, we can also use their dry food for that. Again, we want to make sure that approximately no more than 10% of our pet's daily caloric intake is coming from treats. Finally, really important when it comes to food is portion control. I strongly encourage owners to weigh their pet's food. That means putting it on a gram scale and knowing an actual number of what you're feeding. We know that setting up a specific portion at a mealtime every day is a really good way to create a routine, but it's also the best way for us to control the amount of intake your pet has every day. Free-fed pets, so pets that have food out all the time, we know are at an increased risk of becoming overweight. If you're one of the few lucky ones and you have a dog or a cat that can free feed and is not overweight, bless you, you are the lucky ones, but most of us aren't that lucky. Like I said, setting up a specific amount at a specific time is a really good way to set up a routine and make sure that you can control your pet's calorie intake. One important thing to note is when you're setting up proportions, you can go off the recommendations from the food itself, but recognize that these are just guidelines. It's a starting point, and some pets may need adjusting to maintain a healthy weight. If you need to encourage your pet to eat at a slower pace, which I definitely need to do for my golden retriever, there's things that you can use like a puzzle feeder. The nice thing is that these have compartments and ways that your pet has to work, while they'll get some mental stimulation and slow release of reward and treats, which can help them eat at a slower pace. While we do know that calorie intake, your pet's diet, and what they're eating is going to have a much greater impact on their weight, exercise is still an important factor too. We know there's a lot of benefits to regular activity in our pets. In general, I think a good rule of thumb is 30 minutes of exercise a day for most happy, healthy pets is going to be a good place to start. Now, we have to remember that every pet's needs are going to vary based on things like their breed, their size, and their own personal activity level. So for example, smaller breeds may need 30 minutes, but it's better to break it up into 3 10-minute sessions or to 15-minute sessions. Again, our more active breeds like our German Shorthairs, our working collies, our spaniels, they might need more like an hour to 2 hours a day. And so those dogs are gonna need more time set out to get out their energy every day. Now, don't forget our cats too. Again, I'm admittedly a crazy cat lady. If you have an indoor-outdoor cat, they may be taking care of enough exercise on their own, though I can see some being a little bit overweight, so we want to keep that in mind. But it's our indoor-only cats that we really need to be careful. We need to also be providing an exercise regimen for them too. This is usually going to be better in short and sweet segments. So playtime sessions, 5-10 minutes with a mousey on a string, using things like puzzle feeders to provide some activity and mental stimulation is a great way to provide exercise for cats. When it comes to pet obesity, don't forget, prevention is the best treatment. So set yourself up for success early. Our pets rely on us to help keep themselves healthy and active.